32 countries, 3.5 million troops, a defense budget that's larger than the next 15 militaries combined. When Article 5 triggers, it activates the largest military alliance in human history, an alliance that collectively operates more aircraft than Russia and China combined, more warships than the entire Pacific Fleet, and enough nuclear weapons to glass a continent. This is every major weapons system operated by Nato, and the arsenal that would turn a Russian push into the Baltics into the costliest miscalculation since Operation Barbarossa. M1A2 Abrams. The United States fields over 8,000 of these 700-ton monsters, and that's the number that keeps Russian war planners awake at night. Powered by a 500 horsepower gas turbine that runs on jet fuel and sounds like a commercial airliner at idle. The Abrams mounts a 120 smoothbore gun that's been punching through Soviet-designed armor since Desert Storm. The latest SEPV-3 variant features trophy active protection systems that shoot down incoming missiles, third-generation thermal imaging, and depleted uranium armor inserts that make the front glacis plate effectively immune to anything Russia currently fields. The Abrams drinks fuel like a fraternity at an open bar, roughly 8 liters per kilometer off-road. But when you have the logistics infrastructure of the US military, fuel consumption is just a cost of doing business. Poland operates them. And when the United States commits armor to Europe, it's sending the SEPV-3, not the export variants. Leopard 2. Germany built the tank that became NATO's standard, and over 2,000 are operated by 13 European armies. The Leopard 2A7 Plus is what you field when you want German engineering applied to the problem of destroying Russian armor. It weighs 67 tons, mounts the same Rheinmetall 120 smoothbore as the Abrams, and uses a diesel engine that's significantly more fuel efficient than the Abrams turbine. Spain operates 327. Turkey has 316. Poland fields 247 with another 1,000 K2 Black Panthers, on order to replace their Soviet legacy equipment. Greece operates 353. The Netherlands, Finland, Sweden, Norway. Every serious European military either operates Leopards or wants to. The 2A7 Plus variant adds modular composite armor, an auxiliary power unit for silent watch, and a battlefield management system that networks every tank in the formation. When Germany sent Leopard 2A6s to Ukraine, they proved that a well-trained crew in a Leopard can kill T-90s from ranges where Russian return fire is ineffective. Challenger 2. The British Army operates 227 of these 6.9-ton beasts, and they're being upgraded to Challenger 3 standard, with Rheinmetall's 120 smoothbore replacing the rifled gun that's been a British tank trademark since the Centurion. The Challenger 2 holds the record for the longest-range tank kill in history. A T-55 destroyed at 5.1 kilometers during the Iraq War. It's heavier than the Leopard, slower than the Abrams, and uses a rifled gun that requires unique ammunition nobody else manufactures. But it's also survived direct hits from RPG-29s, has Dorchester Level 2 composite armor that's proven nearly impenetrable from the front, and hasn't lost a single tank to enemy fire in combat. When the British sent 14 Challenger 2S to Ukraine, they sent crews who'd been training on those specific vehicles for years, and it showed. Leclerc. France operates 200 of these third-generation MBTs, and they're proof that French engineering can produce world-class armor when Nexter actually gets the budget. The Leclerc uses an autoloader that allows a 3-man crew, mounts a 120 smoothbore, and features a fire control system that can engage targets on the move at ranges exceeding 4 kilometers. It's faster than the Abrams, lighter than the Challenger, and equipped with reactive armor tiles that can be replaced in the field. The United Arab Emirates operates 388 Leclercs, proving the export market believes in the design even if NATO hasn't standardized on it. When people ask why France hasn't sent Leclercs to Ukraine, the answer is simple. They only built 406 total. They're no longer in production, and Paris isn't about to hollow out its armored force for a conflict where logistical support would be a nightmare. K2 Black Panther. Poland is replacing its Soviet legacy tanks with 1,000 of these South Korean 4th-generation MBTs. And the K2 represents what happens when you design armor in the 21st century without Cold War doctrine baggage. It features an autoloader, active suspension that can tilt the hull for better firing angles, and a 120 smoothbore, fed by an ammunition compartment that blows outward, if penetrated, keeping the crew alive even if the tank's mobility killed. Poland received 110 K2s in 2024 and is buying more as fast as Hyundai Rotem can build them. When you're on NATO's eastern flank staring at Kaliningrad, having tanks that can match or exceed anything Russia fields is not optional. M2 Bradley. Over 6,000 Bradleys are in U.S. Army and National Guard inventories, and they've been the standard infantry fighting vehicle since the 1980s. The M2A3 variant mounts a 25 Bushmaster autocannon, a tow missile launcher, and carries 6 dismounts in the back. It's amphibious, it's NBC protected, and it proved in Ukraine that a well-crewed Bradley can kill Russian tanks. When Ukrainian crews started destroying T-72s and T-90s with Tau missiles fired from Bradleys, it validated decades of American doctrine about combined arms warfare. The Bradley's been derided as overcomplicated and under-armored, but it's survived 3 decades of combat from Iraq to Afghanistan to Ukraine, and the US is still building upgraded variants. CV-90. Sweden's Combat Vehicle 90 is operated by 7 NATO countries, and it represents the European philosophy of infantry fighting vehicles: lighter, faster, and cheaper than the Bradley while maintaining lethal firepower. The CV-90 mounts a 40 Bofors autocannon that can shred light armor and dismount infantry with airburst ammunition, carries 8 troops, and weighs just 35 tons fully loaded. Norway, Finland, Denmark, Switzerland, Slovakia, Czech Republic. Every military that operates it praises the CV-90's mobility and reliability. The Mk4 variant adds active protection systems and can be fitted with Spike anti-tank missiles, giving it standoff capability against armor. Puma. Germany's newest IFV is what happens when you design an infantry fighting vehicle with crew protection as the primary requirement. The Puma weighs 43 tons with full armor packages, mounts a Rheinmetall 30 autocannon in an unmanned turret, and features modular armor that can be tailored to the threat environment. It carries 6 dismounts, features a trophy-like active protection system, and has been criticized for being over-engineered and expensive. Germany ordered 350. The first batch was delivered in 2015, and they're still working through teething problems. When it works, the Puma is the most survivable IFV in NATO. When it doesn't, it's in the shop. Warrior. The British Army's tracked IFV has been in service since the 1980s, and it's finally being upgraded after decades of make, do, and mend budgeting. The Warrior mounts a 30 Arden cannon, carries 7 dismounts, and served in Iraq and Afghanistan without any catastrophic failures. It's being upgraded to Warrior CSP standard, with a new turret, improved armor, and modernized systems. A process that's taking longer and costing more than anyone predicted. But 245 upgraded Warriors will give the British Army a capable IFF through the 2030s, which is better than the alternative of buying a new design the Treasury can't afford. Stryker. The U.S. Army operates over 4,900 Stryker-wheeled combat vehicles in 9 configurations: infantry carrier, reconnaissance, mortar carrier, anti-tank, medical evacuation, engineer, command, fire support, and NBC reconnaissance. The Stryker trades the Bradley's tracked mobility and heavy armor for strategic speed. Strykers can self-deploy hundreds of miles on roads, while tracks are still loading onto rail. Armed with 12.7 machine guns, 30 autocannons depending on variant, or Javelin anti-tank missiles, the Stryker provides mechanized brigades with rapid deployment capability. When the Army needs forces in theater within 96 hours, Stryker brigades fly in and roll off the ramp ready to fight. M113. The Vietnam-era armored personnel carrier is still operated by over 25 NATO countries, despite being designed in the 1960s. Over 80,000 M113s have been produced, making it the most numerous armored vehicle in the West. It's lightly armored, lightly armed, and obsolete by modern standards. But countries like Turkey, Greece, and Spain still operate hundreds because replacing them with modern IFDs is expensive. The M113 transports infantry, evacuates casualties, and provides mobile command posts. It's adequate for peacekeeping and training, even if you wouldn't want to take it into pure conflict. Boxer. Germany and Netherlands developed the Boxer wheeled armored vehicle, and it's been adopted by Britain, Australia, and Lithuania. The Boxer uses a modular mission pod system. Swap the pod, change the mission. Infantry carrier, command post, ambulance, reconnaissance, recovery vehicle. It's well protected, highly mobile on roads, and represents European collaboration on armored vehicle programs. Britain is buying 500 Boxers to replace aging FV-432 armored personnel carriers, proving that wheeled armor has a place alongside tracks. Patriot AMV and Piranha. Finnish Patriot AMVs and Swiss MOUAG Piranha wheeled APCs are operated by multiple NATO countries. The Piranha has been in service since the 1970s, continuously upgraded, and serves with Spain, Denmark, Ireland, Romania. The Patriot AMV is newer, entered service in 2004, and Poland ordered 690 in various configurations. Both platforms provide 8x8 wheeled mobility, protection against mines and IEDs, and can be configured as APCs, command vehicles, or fire support platforms. When NATO countries need wheeled armor without the expense of tracked IFVs, Patriots and Piranhas fill the gap. JLTV and Humvee. The Joint Light Tactical Vehicle replaced the Humvee as the U.S. military's standard light tactical vehicle, and over 12,000 have been delivered. The JLTV features V-shaped hull for mine protection, blast-resistant seats, and can be armed with machine guns or grenade launchers. It's faster and better protected than the Humvee, more mobile than an MRAP, and fills the gap between unarmored trucks and heavy armor. The Humvee is still in service with National Guard units and allied militaries. Over 150,000 were produced, and many will soldier on for another decade. MRAP. Mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles were built in response to IED threats in Iraq and Afghanistan, and over 27,000 were produced across multiple manufacturers. Cougar, Buffalo, Max Pro, Oshkosh M-ATV all feature V-shaped hulls that deflect blasts, heavy armor, and protection for crews operating in IED-heavy environments. NATO countries received thousands of MRAPs through Excess Defense Articles programs. When insurgencies threaten convoys with roadside bombs, NOPs provide protection that regular trucks and Humvees can't. M109 Paladin, self-propelled 155mm artillery, is the backbone of NATO fire support, and over 1,000 Paladins are operated by the United States alone. The M10 9A7 variant features digital fire control, automated ammunition handling, and the ability to fire 6 rounds per minute from its 155mm howitzer. Maximum range with rocket-assisted projectiles exceeds 30 kilometers, and the Paladin can shoot and scoot faster than any towed system. When the U.S. sent M109s to Ukrainian crews trained on them in 3 weeks and were hitting Russian positions within a month. The platform's been in service since the 1960s, continuously upgraded, and it'll remain the U.S. Army's primary indirect fire platform for another 2 decades minimum. PZH-2000. Germany's Panzerhaubitze 2000 is the Porsche of self-propelled howitzers, over-engineered, expensive, and absolutely devastating when it works. It fires 155mm shells at a rate of 10 rounds per minute, features fully automated loading, and can put 3 rounds on target simultaneously, using a technique called MRSI, multiple rounds, simultaneous impact. Maximum range exceeds 40 kilometers with rocket-assisted ammunition, and the fire control system is networked with counter-battery radar. Germany, Netherlands, Italy, Greece, Croatia, Hungary, Lithuania, 9 NATO countries operate the PZH-2000, and it's proven in Ukraine that when German artillery crews arrive, Russian forces retreat. The downside? It's expensive, requires meticulous maintenance, and breaks down if you push it too hard. But when it's operational, nothing in the Russian arsenal can match its fire rate. Caesar, France's truck-mounted 155mm howitzer, represents the opposite philosophy from the PZH-2000. Keep it simple, keep it mobile, keep it cheap. The Caesar mounts a 155mm gun on a 6X truck chassis, can fire 6 rounds per minute, and displaces immediately after firing. Maximum range hits 42 kilometers with the RFB rounds, and the entire system can be airlifted in a C-130. France operates them. Denmark bought 19. Czech Republic ordered 52. When you need artillery that can shoot from a highway, displace to a forest, and be rolling again before counter-battery radar localizes you, the Caesar is the answer. AS-90. Britain's self-propelled 155mm howitzer serves with the Royal Artillery, and 89 guns remain operational. The AS-90 Braveheart variant features an automated loading system, improved fire control, and the ability to fire 3 rounds in under 10 seconds. It's not as fast as the PZH-2000, not as mobile as the Caesar, but it's reliable, it's British, and crews who've operated it for 20 years can make it sing. When the UK sent AS-90s to Ukraine alongside Challenger 2S, they sent a complete combined arms package, armor and fires integrated from day one. HIMARS and M270 MLRS, long-range precision rocket artillery, changed the war in Ukraine, and NATO operates hundreds of these systems. The M142 HIMARS is a truck-mounted launcher that fires 6 GMLRS rockets with ranges up to 84 kilometers, or 1 ATACMS tactical ballistic missile, out to 300 kilometers. The M270 MLRS is tracked, carries 12 rockets, and has been in NATO service since the 1980s. The United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Greece, Finland. Every serious NATO military operates HIMARS or MLRS. When Ukrainian crews started deleting Russian ammunition dumps with GPS-guided GMLRS rockets, it proved that precision fires matter more than volume when you can hit exactly what you're aiming at. Russia's learning that lesson the hard way. F-35 Lightning II. NATO operates over 600 F-35s across 9 countries, and that number grows every year. The United States fields the A variant for the Air Force, the B variant for the Marines, and the C variant for the Navy. Britain operates the B variant of Queen Elizabeth-class carriers. Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, Poland, Belgium, Finland. Everyone's buying F-35s because 5th-generation stealth isn't optional anymore. The F-35A costs roughly $80 million per aircraft, features sensor fusion that presents pilots with a god's-eye view of the battlefield, and can network with every other F-35 in theater. It carries AIM-120D AMRAMs internally, can penetrate integrated air defenses Russia spent decades building, and has a combat radius exceeding 1,100 kilometers. When Turkish F-16s tried to lock F-35s during training exercises, the Lightning IIs saw them first, locked them first, and would have killed them first if weapons were live. F-22 Raptor. The United States operates 186 of the most capable air superiority fighters ever built, and they're not for export. The F-22 predates the F-35, costs over $150 million per aircraft, and remains superior in air-to-air combat. Supercruise at Mach 1.8 without afterburners. Thrust vectoring for post-stall maneuverability. Stealth shaping that makes it nearly invisible to Russian radar. When F-22s deployed to Europe during Russian aggression, they were a message: we can clear your airspace before you know we're there. The F-22's production line shut down in 2011 after budget cuts, and the Air Force regrets it every time they count how many fifth-generation fighters China's building. F-16 Fighting Falcon. Over 2,300 F-16s are operated by NATO countries, making it the most numerous fighter in the alliance. Belgium, Denmark, Greece, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Turkey, F-16s are everywhere. The latest Block 70/72 variant features AESA radar, advanced electronic warfare suites, and the ability to carry modern standoff weapons. Ukraine received F-16s in 2024, and while they're not game changers against Russia's integrated air defenses, they provide Kyiv with a platform that can fire Western munitions and integrate with NATO command and control. The F-16's been in service since 1978, continuously upgraded, and it'll fly with some NATO air forces until 2040. Eurofighter Typhoon. Britain, Germany, Italy, and Spain co-developed the Typhoon, and over 570 are in service across 8 NATO countries. It's a twin-engine multi-role fighter designed for air superiority, with a secondary ground attack role. Supercruise, capable thrust vectoring in some variants, and equipped with Meteor beyond visual range missiles that outrange anything Russia currently fields. The Typhoon's been derided as expensive, and late development took 20 years and costs spiraled. But the platform that emerged is genuinely capable. When German Typhoons intercept Russian aircraft approaching Baltic airspace, they're flying a jet that can match anything short of Ansu. 5-7 in a dogfight and shoot first from beyond visual range. Rafale. France operates 234 Rafales across the Air Force and Navy, and it's the multi-role fighter that Dassault built when France refused to join the Eurofighter program. The Rafale does everything: air superiority, ground attack, nuclear strike, carrier operations. It's equipped with Meteor missiles, Scalp cruise missiles, and AASM precision-guided bombs. Egypt bought Rafales. India bought Rafales. Greece bought Rafales to counter Turkish F-16s. When France needs to project power, Rafales fly from the Charles de Gaulle carrier, and when Paris needs to demonstrate strategic autonomy from the United States, Rafale sales prove French aerospace can compete globally. F-15 Eagle and Strike Eagle. The United States operates over 400 F-15s, and they remain the backbone of air superiority missions until the F-35 fully replaces them. The F-15C/D air superiority variant has never lost an air-to-air engagement. 104 kills, 0 losses. The F-15E Strike Eagle is the multi-role variant that drops precision-guided bombs while maintaining air-to-air capability. The latest F-15EX variant features AESA radar, fly-by-wire controls, and can carry hypersonic weapons on external hardpoints. When the Air Force needed a fighter that could carry large payloads while the F-35 handles stealth penetration, they bought more F-15EXs. Poland ordered 32. The Eagle's been flying since 1976, and it'll fly until 2045 at minimum. F/A-18 Super Hornet. The U.S. Navy's carrier-based multi-role fighter operates off Nimitz and Ford-class carriers, and over 550 are in service. The Super Hornet replaced the Legacy Hornet with bigger engines, more fuel, and additional hardpoints. It conducts air superiority, strike, suppression of enemy air defenses, and aerial refueling missions. Australia operates them. Canada's replacing their Legacy Hornets with Super Hornets and F-35s. When a carrier strike group deploys, Super Hornets provide the bulk of the Air Wing's combat power, until F-35Cs fully replace them in the 2030s. B-2 Spirit. The United States operates 20 stealth bombers that cost $2.1 billion each, and they're the aircraft you send when you need to delete hardened targets in denied airspace. The B-2 carries 8,500-pound JDAMs, or 16,2,000-pound penetrator bombs. Features all-aspect stealth and has a combat radius exceeding 6,000 miles with aerial refueling. When B-2s deployed to strike Libyan air defenses in 2011, Gaddafi's radar never saw them coming. Russia knows they exist, knows they can penetrate air defenses, and built the S-400 specifically to try countering them. The B-2's so expensive that losing one would be a strategic event. B-1B Lancer. The United States operates 45 supersonic strategic bombers that were designed for nuclear strike missions during the Cold War and converted to conventional roles. The B-1B can carry 84 500-pound JDAMs, or 24,2,000-pound JDAMs, supercruise at high altitude, and conduct low-level penetration at 900 miles per hour. It's been the workhorse of close air support in Afghanistan and Iraq, proving that strategic bombers can loiter over battlefields and drop precision munitions on target coordinates, provided by ground controllers. B-52 Stratofortress. The United States operates 76 B-52Hs, and they'll remain in service until 2050, meaning some airframes will have been flying for 90 years. The B-52 carries 70,000 pounds of ordnance, launches AGM-158 JSM cruise missiles from standoff range, and serves as a flying magazine for precision-guided munitions. It's subsonic, it's not stealthy, and it's been in service since 1955. But when you need to deliver 20 cruise missiles from 1,000 kilometers away, the B-52 is still the platform that does it. And with new engines being fitted in the 2030S, it'll keep flying until there are airframes flown by pilots whose great-grandfathers flew the same model. Nimitz and Ford-class carriers. The United States operates 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers, 10 Nimitz-class, and 1 Ford-class, with more Fords under construction. Each carrier displaces 100,000 tons, operates an air wing of 690 aircraft, and projects more combat power than most countries' entire militaries. The Ford-class features electromagnetic catapults, advanced arresting gear, and generates enough electrical power to eventually mount directed energy weapons. When a carrier strike group deploys, it includes a Nimitz or Ford-class carrier, cruisers, destroyers, submarines, and support ships. A complete naval task force that can dominate 500,000 square kilometers of ocean. Queen Elizabeth-class carriers. Britain operates 265,000-ton carriers that represent the Royal Navy's return to fixed-wing carrier aviation. HMS Queen Elizabeth and HMS Prince of Wales operate F-35B Lightning IIs, carry up to 40 aircraft, and feature ski jump launches instead of catapults. They're conventionally powered, they're smaller than American supercarriers, but they project British power globally in ways the Royal Navy hasn't since the Falklands War. When Queen Elizabeth deployed to the Pacific in 2001, it demonstrated that Britain can still conduct carrier operations 7,000 miles from home. Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers. The United States operates 73 of these Aegis-equipped guided missile destroyers, with more under construction. Each Burke displaces 9,000 tons, mounts 96 vertical launch cells for SM-2, SM-3, SM-6, and Tomahawk missiles, and features the SPY-1D phased array radar that's the backbone of naval air defense. Burkes can shoot down ballistic missiles, conduct anti-submarine warfare, launch cruise missiles at land targets, and escort carrier strike groups. They've been in production since 1988, and the Flight 3 variant adds the AN/SSPY. 6 air search radar with 3 times the detection range of the SPY-1D. Ticonderoga-class cruisers. The United States operates 17 Aegis cruisers, and they're being retired as Arleigh-Burke production continues. Each Ticonderoga mounts 122 VLS cells, features 2 SPY-1 radars, and serves as the air warfare commander for carrier strike groups. They're older than the Burkes, more expensive to maintain, but they pack more missiles and provide ballistic missile defense for forward-deployed naval forces. Type 45. Destroyer. Britain operates 6 of these air defense destroyers, and they feature the Samson multifunction radar and the Aster 30 missile system. Each Type 45 displaces 8,000 tons, carries 48 VLS cells, and provides area air defense for Royal Navy task groups. They've been plagued by propulsion problems. The Rolls-Royce WR-21 gas turbines have reliability issues in warm water, but when the systems work, the Type 45 is one of the most capable air defense platforms afloat. Horizons and FREMM frigates. France and Italy operate these modern surface combatants that provide anti-air, anti-surface, and anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The Horizon class features MPAR radar and Aster missiles. The FRMM frigates are multi-purpose platforms built in variants tailored to anti-submarine warfare or general-purpose missions. France operates 8 FRMMs. Italy operates 10. These are the ships that patrol the Mediterranean, escort task groups, and conduct sovereignty operations in contested waters. Virginia-class SSN. The United States operates 21 Virginia-class nuclear attack submarines, with 1 or 2 commissioned every year. Each Virginia displaces 7,800 tons, submerged, features pump jet propulsion for reduced acoustic signature, and carries Tomahawk cruise missiles and Mk-48 torpedoes. The Block V variant adds the Virginia payload module, 4 additional VLS tubes that can carry 7 Tomahawks each, bringing total missile capacity to 40. Virginia's hunt enemy submarines, conduct intelligence gathering, strike land targets with cruise missiles, and can insert special operations forces through lockout chambers. Russia's attack submarines are louder, slower, and less capable. When a Virginia tracks a Russian Yasen-class SSN, the American boat hears it first and maintains the initiative. Ohio-class SSBN and SSGN. The United States operates 14 Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines, carrying Trident 2D5 missiles, each missile equipped with multiple W-88 or W-76 nuclear warheads. 4 Ohio-class boats were converted to SSGNs, guided missile submarines, each carrying 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles. The SSBNs provide the sea-based leg of the nuclear triad, ensuring that even if land-based missiles are destroyed, submarines at sea can still deliver retaliatory strikes. The SSGNs provide massive conventional strike capability. One SSGN can launch more Tomahawks than an entire surface action group. Astute-class SSN. Britain operates 6 Astute-class nuclear attack submarines, and they're the quietest submarines the Royal Navy has ever built. Each Astute displaces 7,400 tons, carries Tomahawk missiles and Spearfish torpedoes, and features a pump jet propulsor. The Astute class replaced the Trafalgar class, and they patrol the Atlantic, hunt Russian submarines, and provide strategic deterrent support. When Astutes deploy, they remain undetected for months. Barracuda/Suffren class SSN. France operates the Suffren class nuclear attack submarines, 6 boats replacing the Rubis class. Each Suffren displaces 5,300 tons, carries Scalp naval cruise missiles and F-21 torpedoes, and features pump jet propulsion. They conduct anti-submarine warfare, strike land targets, and deploy French special forces. When France needs strategic autonomy in submarine operations, Suffrens provide it without relying on American or British boats. Type 212 and Type 214 submarines. Germany and Norway operate Type 212 diesel-electric submarines with air-independent propulsion that allows them to remain submerged for weeks. Greece, South Korea, and Turkey operate the export variant Type 214. These boats are small, 1,800 tons submerged, but they're quieter than nuclear boats in littoral waters and cost a fraction of an SSN. When you're operating in the Baltic or Mediterranean where shallow water and choke points favor diesel-electric boats, the Type 212 is the platform you want. Minuteman III, ICBM. The United States operates 400 land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles in hardened silos across Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming. Each Minuteman III carries up to 3 W-78 or W-87 nuclear warheads, with a combined yield of 335 kilotons per missile. The missiles provide the ground-based leg of the nuclear triad, ensuring that even if bombers are destroyed on the ground and submarines are sunk, silo-based missiles can still launch retaliatory strikes. They're being replaced by the ground-based strategic deterrent, starting in the 2030s, but until then, Minuteman III remains America's land-based nuclear deterrent. Trident II D5 SLBM. Carried aboard Ohio-class SSBNs and British Vanguard-class SSBNs, the Trident II D5 is the sea-based component of the American and British nuclear arsenals. Each missile can carry up to 8 W-88 warheads, with 475 kiloton yields, has a range exceeding 12,000 kilometers, and uses stellar navigation for accuracy measured in meters. The Trident II D5 is the most reliable ballistic missile ever deployed, over 178 consecutive successful test flights. When a British or American SSBN is on patrol, it carries 200 Trident missiles, representing more destructive power than most nations' entire arsenals. AGM, 86B ALCM, and AGM, 158 JSSM. Air-launched cruise missiles provide the bomber leg of the nuclear triad and conventional strike capability. The AGM, 86B air-launched cruise missile carries a W-80 nuclear warhead, has a range exceeding 2,400 kilometers, and is launched from B-52s. The AGM, 15 JSSM, is the conventional variant with a 1,000-pound penetrator warhead and range up to 1,000 kilometers in the JASMER variant. When B-52s, or B-1Bs, need to strike targets in denied airspace, they launch JASSMs from standoff range and let the missiles penetrate air defenses. SM-3 and SM-6 ballistic missile defense. NATO's ballistic missile defense relies on Aegis ships equipped with SM-3 and SM-6 interceptors. The SM-3 block IIA intercepts medium-range ballistic missiles during mid-course phase, using kinetic kill vehicles to destroy incoming warheads in space. The SM-6 provides terminal phase defense against shorter-range missiles and can also conduct anti-aircraft and anti-surface missions. When Russia threatens Europe with Iskander or Kinzhal missiles, SM-3 equipped Aegis ashore sites in Romania and Poland provide the defense umbrella. THAAD and Patriot PAC-3. Ground-based ballistic missile defense includes the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System and Patriot PAC. 3 missiles. THAAD intercepts missiles during terminal phase, using hit-to-kill kinetic warheads. The United Arab Emirates operates THAAD. Saudi Arabia operates THAAD batteries to Europe and the Pacific. Patriot PAC-3 provides lower-tier defense, intercepting aircraft and cruise missiles, alongside short-range ballistic missiles. Poland, Germany, Netherlands, Spain, Greece, Romania. 13 NATO countries operate Patriot, and it's proven in Ukraine that PAC-3 missiles can shoot down Russian Kinzhals, despite Russian propaganda claiming otherwise. 604 Apache. The United States operates over 800 Apaches, and they're the attack helicopter that's been deleting armor since Desert Storm. The AH-64E Guardian variant features longbow radar for fire and frigate Hellfire missiles, a 30 mm 230 chain gun, and the ability to coordinate with drones for targeting beyond visual range. Britain operates 50 Apaches. Netherlands operates 28. Greece, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, everyone who faces armored threats operates Apaches. When Ukrainian forces finally get Apaches, Russian tank crews will learn what American armored doctrine figured out in the 1990s. Attack helicopters see you before you see them. And by the time you know they're there, the Hellfire's already in flight. 1Z Viper. The U.S. Marine Corps operates 180 Vipers as the successor to the Vietnam-era Cobra. Twin engine, 4-blade rotor, armed with Hellfire missiles and a 20 mm cannon. The AH-1Z provides close air support for Marine expeditionary units, conducts anti-armor missions, and operates from amphibious assault ships. When Marines conduct forcible entry operations, Vipers provide the aerial fires that suppress defenses, while MV-22 Ospreys insert infantry. Tiger. France and Germany co-developed the Tiger attack helicopter, and over 180 are in service across 4 NATO countries. The Tiger mounts anti-tank missiles, 30 mm cannon, and conducts armed reconnaissance missions. Spain operates Tigers. Australia operates Tigers. It's been plagued by availability issues. French Tigers average 26% availability rates during some periods, but when they're operational, they provide European militaries with organic anti-armor capability. AW-29 Mangusta. Italy operates 60 of these lightweight attack helicopters that serve as the Italian Army's primary anti-tank platform. Armed with TOW or Hellfire missiles and a 20 mm cannon, the Mangusta is faster and more agile than heavier attack helicopters, trading some protection for speed. When Italy needs attack helicopters for peacekeeping or counterinsurgency, Mangusta crews deploy. C-17 Globemaster III. Strategic airlift in NATO relies on the C-17, and the United States operates 222 of these heavy transports. Each C-17 can carry 77,000 kilograms of cargo, conduct airdrop operations, land on 3, deploy anywhere in the world with aerial refueling. Britain operates 8 C-17s. Canada operates 5. Australia operates 8. When NATO needs to deploy an armored brigade from Fort Hood to Poland, C-17s are the aircraft that make it happen. The C-17 production line shut down in 2015, making existing aircraft increasingly valuable. C-130J Super Hercules. Tactical airlift across NATO uses the C-130J, and over 400 are operated by 17 countries. The Super Hercules features glass cockpit, upgraded engines, and the ability to operate from austere airstrips. It conducts troop transport, airdrop, medical evacuation, and aerial refueling missions. When a battalion needs supplies delivered to a forward operating base, C-130s are the workhorses that get it done. France, Italy, Canada, Denmark, Norway, everyone operates Hercules variants. A400M Atlas. Europe's strategic airlifter was supposed to replace aging C-130s and C-160s across multiple air forces. The A400M can carry 37,000 kilograms of cargo, land on unprepared strips, and conduct low-level cargo drops. Germany, France, Spain, UK, Turkey, 8 NATO countries operate the A400M, and it represents European strategic autonomy in airlift. Development was a disaster. Years behind schedule, billions over budget. But the platform that emerged is capable. When European militaries deploy to Africa or the Middle East, A400MS provide the airlift without depending on American C-17s, KC-135, and KC-46 tankers. Aerial refueling enables everything NATO does beyond the immediate European theater. The United States operates 396 KC-135 Stratotankers that have been refueling aircraft since 1957. They're being replaced by the KC-46 Pegasus, with 89 delivered and more in production. France operates C-135 FSRs when fighter aircraft deploy across the Atlantic, when bombers conduct long-range strikes, when ISR platforms need to stay on station for 12-hour missions. Tankers make it possible. Without aerial refueling, NATO's reach collapses to a few hundred kilometers from air bases. E-3 Sentry and E-7 Wedgetail. Airborne early warning and control aircraft provide the situational awareness that makes modern air operations possible. NATO operates 14 E-3 Sentries, AWACS aircraft with rotating radar domes that detect aircraft 400 kilometers away and coordinate air defense operations. Britain, France, and Turkey operate national E-3 fleets. The United States is replacing E-3s with E-7 Wedgetails, a Boeing 737-based platform with fixed AESA radar. When NATO conducts air operations, AWACS aircraft orbit behind friendly lines, directing fighters to intercepts and managing the air battle. JDAM and Paveway. GPS-guided bombs transformed NATO air power, and the Joint Direct Attack Munition Kit converts unguided bombs into precision weapons. A $25,000 JDAM kit attached to a 2,000-pound bomb creates a weapon accurate to within 5 meters. Over 500,000 JDAMs have been produced. Pavoy laser-guided bombs provide precision when GPS is jammed. A laser designator illuminates the target. The bomb homes on the reflection. F-16s, F-35s, B-1s, B-52s, every NATO strike aircraft carries JDAMs or Pavoys. When you need to destroy a specific building without leveling the entire block, precision-guided munitions are how you do it. SDB and SDB-2. Small diameter bombs allow strike aircraft to carry more precision weapons per sortie. The SDB weighs 250 pounds, uses GPS/INS guidance, and has a range exceeding 100 kilometers when dropped from altitude. The SDB-2 adds tri-mode seeker, radar, infrared, and laser, allowing it to hit moving targets. An F-35 carries 8 SDBs internally while maintaining stealth. An F-15E carries 28 SDBs on external racks. When you're conducting a counter-air campaign and need to destroy dozens of targets per sortie, SDBs provide the weapons density that makes it possible. Tomahawk cruise missile. Subsonic cruise missiles fired from ships and submarines provide standoff strike capability against heavily defended targets. The Tomahawk Block V features two-way satellite communications, loiter capability, and range exceeding 1,600 kilometers. Virginia-class submarines carry 1-2-4-0 Tomahawks depending on configuration. Arleigh-Burke destroyers carry 5-6-9-6 Tomahawks. When NATO needs to strike targets deep in denied territory without risking manned aircraft, Tomahawks are the weapon of choice. They've been used in every major U.S. conflict since Desert Storm. Storm Shadow/Scalp. Britain and France developed this long-range cruise missile for penetrating strikes against hardened targets. Storm Shadow, British designation, and Scalp, French designation, feature broach tandem warheads designed to penetrate bunkers, fly terrain-following profiles to avoid radar detection, and have a range exceeding 500 kilometers. When Britain or France needs to destroy a command bunker or ammunition depot protected by air defenses, Storm Shadow/Scalp provides the capability to strike from outside the engagement envelope. Meteor and AMRAAM. Beyond visual range air-to-air missiles give NATO fighters first-shot capability against Russian aircraft. The AIM-120D AMRAAM features active radar guidance and range exceeding 160 kilometers. The Meteor, developed by MBDA for European fighters, uses a ramjet motor that maintains high speed throughout flight, giving it a no-escape zone significantly larger than AMRAAM. Eurofighters carry Meteors. Rafales carry Meteors. When NATO fighters engage Russian Su-35s or Su-57s, shooting first from beyond visual range determines who wins. Javelin. Man-portable anti-tank missiles changed infantry warfare, and the Javelin is the weapon that proved it in Ukraine. Fire and forget, top attack profile, effective range over 4,000 meters. The operator locks onto a target using infrared imaging, fires, and can immediately displace while the missile climbs and strikes the tank from above, where armor is thinnest. The United States has produced over 50,000 Javelins. Over 10,000 have been sent to Ukraine. When Ukrainian infantry started destroying T-72s and T-90s from concealed positions, it validated 3 decades of American investment in precision anti-tank systems. TOW. Tube-launched, optically tracked, wire-guided missiles have been in U.S. service since the 1970s, and over 700,000 have been produced. The TOW requires the operator to keep the target in his sights until impact, but it's effective at to 4,200 meters and can destroy any armor Russia fields. TOD missiles are mounted on Bradley IFVs, ground vehicles, and tripods. When Ukrainian Bradleys killed T-90s with TOD missiles in 2000-2003, they used a weapon system that's been refined across 5 decades of continuous service. LLAW, the next-generation light anti-tank weapon, is a British-Swedish design that's disposable, shoulder-fired, and effective at ranges up to 800 meters. It uses predicted line-of-sight guidance. The operator tracks the target for a few seconds, fires, and the missile predicts where the target will be. Over 20,000 NLAWs have been sent to Ukraine, where they've proven devastatingly effective against Russian armor in close-range engagements. Carl Gustaf, Sweden's recoilless rifle, has been in service since 1948, continuously upgraded, and operated by 15 NATO countries. The M4 variant weighs 7 kilograms, fires 84 rounds with shaped charge, high explosive, smoke, or illumination warheads. It's reusable, man-portable, and provides infantry squads with direct fire capability against bunkers, light armor, and structures. When you need more firepower than a rifle grenade, but less than an anti-tank missile, the Carl Gustaf is the answer. Stinger. Man-portable air defense missiles give infantry the ability to shoot down helicopters and low-flying aircraft. The FIM-92 Stinger uses infrared guidance, weighs 15 kilograms complete, and has a range of 4,800 meters. Over 70,000 have been produced. Thousands have been sent to Ukraine. When Russian helicopters operate at low altitude, Stingers force them higher where they're vulnerable to medium-range SAMs. When helicopters stay high, they're less effective at supporting ground forces. The Stinger creates a no-win scenario for rotary wing aircraft. NASAMS. The Norwegian Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile System uses AMRAAM air-to-air missiles in a ground-launched configuration, providing medium-range air defense against aircraft and cruise missiles. NASAMS defends Washington, D.C. Ukraine operates NASAMS. Lithuania operates NASAMS. When you need to protect high-value assets from cruise missile or drone attacks, NASAMS provides the capability at lower cost than Patriot. IRIS-T SLM. Germany's medium-range air defense system uses IRIS-T missiles originally designed for fighter aircraft. Adapted for ground launch. Effective against aircraft, helicopters, cruise missiles, and drones out to 40 kilometers. Ukraine received IRIS-T systems in 2022, and they've proven effective against Russian cruise missiles. When Germany needed to quickly provide air defense to Ukraine, adapting an existing air-to-air missile for ground launch was faster than developing a new system from scratch. MQ-9 Reaper. Armed drones provide persistent surveillance and strike capability across NATO. The MQ-9 Reaper can loiter for 27 hours, carries Hellfire missiles and laser-guided bombs, and conducts intelligence gathering, close air support, and precision strike missions. The United States operates over 300 Reapers. Britain operates 16. France operates 26. Spain, Italy, Netherlands. Multiple NATO countries operate armed drones. When you need eyes on a target area for 12 hours and the ability to strike time-sensitive targets immediately, Reapers provide the platform. RQ-4 Global Hawk. High-altitude reconnaissance drones extend NATO's intelligence gathering beyond what satellites can provide. The Global Hawk flies at 60,000 feet, loiters for over 30 hours, and carries synthetic aperture radar and electro-optical cameras that provide near real-time battlefield intelligence. When NATO needs to monitor Russian force movements in Kaliningrad or track naval formations in the Black Sea, Global Hawks provide persistent overhead coverage. Special Operations Forces. The United States operates the largest special operations community in the world, over 70,000 personnel across Army Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Marine Raiders, Air Force Special Tactics, and JSOC elements. Britain's SAS and SBS, France's 1R PIMA and Commandement des Opérations Spéciales, Germany's KSK, Poland's GROM. Every serious NATO military operates Special Operations Forces, trained for direct action, special reconnaissance, unconventional warfare, and counterterrorism. When NATO needs to conduct operations behind Russian lines, Special Operations Forces provide the capability to strike high-value targets, gather intelligence, and train resistance forces. Cyber and electronic warfare. Modern warfare isn't just kinetic. It's cyber attacks on command and control networks, GPS jamming, communications disruption, and electronic warfare. The United States Cyber Command operates alongside NSA to conduct offensive and defensive cyber operations. NATO established a Cyber Operations Center in 2002. Every major NATO ally has cyber warfare units. When Russia jams GPS in the Baltic, when hackers attack critical infrastructure, when electronic warfare systems disrupt communications, NATO has the capability to respond in kind and escalate the electronic fight faster than Russia can adapt. This is every major weapon system operated by NATO.